go. He's not looking at you, but yes, he is looking at you. Everybody, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us for the Tuesday edition of Gudday Grenada. And this ain't just another day, man. It's the first day of October. Happy October. Hope this is going to be a really, really good month for you. And technically, it means that we only have two months, theoretically, 2 months left in the hurricane season. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, here we go. They're at it again this morning. Hazel wins again this morning. Chum, chum, chum. If we ever had to give an award for the person who logs on first, the most, would have to be this lady. She's winning hands down. And as far as I recall her, she's at work, eh? Thank you very much, Hazel. And there comes Mr. Peter Bishop, who's second, and good old Auntie Sharon. Sharon, girl, I miss you. I miss you. We've not been going to the beach, yeah. And I miss you, but I understand. I think you're recuperating from a very hectic week and weekend this past week, working on that Reiki conference. Go ahead, take your rest. We both deserve some rest. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, maybe next week or so, we'll get back on track. Who else is there this morning? Benedict Cador says Tuesday. Is it a terrific Tuesday or just an ordinary Tuesday, Mr. Cador? Either way, good to see you, fella. And let's get into the rundown for this morning's program. We're going to begin by sharing a message that I got from Pam. The program for adolescent mothers. Yeah, we're going to share that with you. They're asking for some help. And that's first up this morning. Let's do our civic duty here this morning. Then, I want to run a short video for you this morning. You know, folks, you think you have it tough? Oh boy. Just wait until you see how some people, some parts of the world exist. I say exist, because that's what they're doing. When you watch that, you realize that, things maybe ain't that bad, too bad for us. We do have the national report for you, and then at the bottom of the hour, we will be joined. Yes, I spoke to him a few minutes ago, and he is actually coming in here and will be sitting in that little chair over there this morning. Mr. Ray Roberts, this being a Tuesday morning. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. The Grenada Association of Professional Social Workers has asked me to share this with you. And I'm sure that they would be moved if they heard from you. After you listen to this morning, try and contact them. I am going to give you an email address. They're down at Grandad's, and I'll give you an email address where you may reach them, right? So please, contact them. Here's the text of the note that they sent to me. The program for adolescent mothers has been in existence for more than 25 years and has provided a sterling service for approximately 1,000 young women in that time. Young women who might have been written off by the education system in Grenada were given an opportunity to finish their education, a number of whom are now working in various professions such as nursing, the financial sector, and some are even running their own businesses. Rumors abound about the events preceding the government's withdrawal of subvention to the program, and the matter is apparently before the courts. Notwithstanding this, where are the voices who should be advocating for the restoration of the service for these young women? The Grenada National Coalition on the Rights of the Child was the agency which initially created PAM. And since education is a right under the UN Convention, are they ensuring that the service is to be reinstated as soon as possible? Are they? It was said by the Minister for Education that the present students would be allocated places in schools and other agencies deemed appropriate. Experience has told those of us working in the field that while some students might want to remain in school, most of them felt stigmatized and wanted a sanctuary where they could be close to their child while continuing their education. Who is now looking after the babies while the students are returned to school? There are some parents who have the capacity to look after their daughters' babies, but this is not possible for most parents since they're working. The difficulties occurring in the management of the program need to be resolved immediately. Adults who are concerned about our youth must see who is important in this scenario. It has to be the future of the students and their children. The other issue pertaining to this matter is that Heritage House, the home of Pam, was bequeathed to the women of Grenada and was officially handed over to Pam recently. This is a marvelous old building which will continue to be maintained by Pam as the guardians of the property. But if the program is not running, it will become increasingly difficult to raise funds for its maintenance, which in itself would be a tragic loss for Grenada's heritage and also for the women of Grenada. The disaffected parties are urged to get around a table and discuss the matter urgently. It is not you who suffers, but the students and their children. Now, I mentioned to you that I'd tell you how you can reach these people. I hope you got your pen and paper handy. The email address is, I'm going to spell it out, GRENAPSW. That's GRENAPSW at hotmail.com. Want to phone them? 403-3139. And the area code is 473. So that's 473-403-3139. All right? Thanks a lot, Chris, for drawing that to my attention. Now. Time is it? 9 minutes after the hour? Yeah. We complain about potholes, traffic congestion, water shortages, poor maintenance of our schools and our roads, reckless drivers, you name it. You think you have it tough, right? It really doesn't matter where this video that I'm about to show you was shot. I just hope it reminds you that for some, life is a whole lot more difficult than we think we have. Every once in a while, it's a good idea to pause and reflect on how much we have to be thankful for. Take a look at this.
我遇见你的那一天，世上才有风花雪月。是你向上观花开呀开，开不完相思的缠绵。我相信最美的情缘，不在天上，在人间。等到那一天，风停了，花谢了。等到那一天，雪化了，月落了，我就化作一只蝴蝶，轻轻落在你指尖。
Heart-wrenching, isn't it? Hard to watch that stuff. Hard to watch that stuff. You know, folks, did you notice the terrain these people have to traverse? Some of these people are parents carrying their children on their backs to school. To school. Some 2 children, one in their arms, one on their backs. Wow. And we think we have it tough. We think we have it tough. Yes, let's be thankful for what we have. All right, John here. Let's see. John says, read Pam, what do the churches have to say? Don't ask me about the churches, John. Please don't. Peter Belfont is saying, good morning. He's tuned in. Isaac says, good morning, George, and participants of Gudday Grenada. Come on, everybody. Let's assist Pam to the max. Thank you, Opie, for putting out that call. I hope it's heard. Anthony the Riggs is saying good morning from Prospect Park. I guess he's gone for his morning walk. Peter Belfont is saying, now, George, how much percentage of courage and fear are involved. I have no clue what you're talking about. Oswin Lewis is saying good morning, everyone. And SD Notap, hello, Sean. Good to see you out there in the Azores. Good morning. Okay, folks. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll come back with the National Report. By the way, it's 16 minutes after the hour.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply Departments and the Food Fair supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's Hardware, Food Fair supermarkets, and the Grenadian General Insurance, an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan.
Hey, what? I just came from the land and this sign here caught my eye. What's that sign about?
Someone must have asked Grenlec to move a pole. But you know, there's no space reserved on the side of the road for planting poles. So Grenlec has to get permission from landowners, and that can take a lot of time.
Oh, Grenlec asked me to help them contact my neighbor Ben about planting a pole on his land. But Ben passed away. His children own the land, but they all live abroad.
That's why Grenlec needs customers to inform them in writing at least 3 months in advance.
3 months? All that?
It seems like a lot, but think about the time it will take for Grenlec to find and get permission from all of Ben's children. And sometimes moving one pole requires you to move the pole before, the one after, plus the wires that support them on the ground. That means even more landowners to find and get permission from. Then Grenlec needs to schedule their teams and notify customers about any power outages.
Well, I need the pole on the farm moved, so I'm going to write Grenlec a letter now.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
All right, just before we fire up the National Report, Anthony Howard is checking in here. He's saying good morning. He says, I've been out of the office for the last few weeks due to surgery. Well, Anthony, certainly hope you are recovering. He says, while I was out, I got hooked on your morning show, so now I'm at my desk with my headphones on. Okay, Anthony. See, you're following in the footsteps of certain other people here who shall remain nameless, sneaking in and watching us while at work. We are honored that you would go that far. Thank you so much. Gemma Andrew Church has chimed in, and so has Chester Simon, Harry Gibson, Margaret Francis. Hey, good to see all you folks. Pilgrims, last night's edition of the National Report.
Ministry of Legal Affairs says last-minute requests are delaying the start of court proceedings at new location. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Monday, September 30th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Ministry of Legal Affairs is advising that there have been delays to the commencement of court proceedings at the CLICO building. 2 floors of that building are being refurbished to accommodate courts, judges' chambers, and other relevant facilities. Work should have been completed this month, but the ministry advised today that completion could be delayed by a couple of weeks. Legal Affairs Minister Honorable Kendra Mathurin-Stewart said Monday the delays are outside the control of her ministry as they stem from last-minute requests being made. Minister Stewart explained that following a site visit by the Deputy Court Administrator of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, issues with the acoustics were identified, necessitating changes to the floor and ceiling. Additionally, the ministry is accommodating specific requests being made by judges, for example, the provision of additional ventilation and the rerouting of wires to accommodate structural changes. In light of the recent request and the resulting changes, it is anticipated that the facility will be ready by mid-October. The local media is being invited to arrange for a tour of the facility to see firsthand the status of the project. Grenada continues to wage war against organized financial crime in the region. On Monday, members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, the Financial Intelligence Unit, Customs and Excise Department, Inland Revenue Division, Airport Security, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions were trained in asset recovery. Asset recovery under the cash seizure and cash forfeiture regime allows for the confiscation by the state of illegal assets before the courts. It is an approach to tackle organized crimes in the Caribbean common law jurisdiction. Training facilitator, former police officer and DPP in the Turks and Caicos, Clement Joseph, says it is time each stakeholder realize their power and full potential in the fight against organized crimes. He says not only police officers can conduct seizures.
In the region that we assist on is that your kind, and when I say your kind, not in a derogatory way, but customs officers in Dominica, St. Lucia. But St. Lucia does not have the legislation, nor does St. Kitts. But St. Kitts is working on it. That's as much as you can say. They're in the draft stage. But the customs officer in Dominica, the customs officer in Antigua, St. Vincent, Barbados just got legislation. They're not aware of their powers under this cash seizure regime. And when you look at the legislation, it will tell you a law enforcement officer can seize the cash. And then it explains what a law enforcement officer is, a customs officer or police. And if you look at the cases that come from the UK, it's always 80% of them are against the Customs and Excise Department.
Joseph says the cash seizure regime questions the idea of individuals benefiting from illegal gains.
Where there is a disconnect, this regime is on a balance of probabilities, so the court can go and infer criminality. So you don't have to be charged with an offense, you don't have to be convicted of an offense, and you can still lose the property. And that is what we're going to talk about. So there'll be a lot of who's and ahs, and we understand that. The court has accepted the fact that that is very draconian legislation, but the whole regime is, why should somebody benefit from illegal gains? Period. Why should they?
Monday's exercise is in addition to recent training by the FIU on organized crime and ways Grenada can collaborate with neighboring islands to clamp down on heightening statistics of money laundering and cyber crimes. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then said the story here, babe. Crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and Sedera.
Welcome back. Grenada's climate finance web portal was officially launched on Monday. It was developed through financial assistance from the German Ministry of Economic Development and the Green Climate Fund. The climate finance web portal was developed by Kendall Daniel of ADSITS and is classified as a user-friendly web portal that can serve as a one-stop source for Grenada climate change and climate finance-related resources. Fitzroy James, who spoke on behalf of Titus and Twine, head of the Department of Economic and Technical Cooperation, says the web portal will function in two ways.
It will be a repository and clearinghouse, enabling users to obtain relevant evidence-based climate information, and two, as a dedicated climate finance information resource, providing updates on climate finance development in Grenada and also globally.
Mr. James says in order to access climate financing, one of the key requirements is that a request must be based on solid evidence, science, and the experience of the community.
The portal will be a medium by which interested stakeholders can establish contact also with the NDA and access available financing facilities and instruments from the Green Climate Fund and other climate change development partners. The Green Climate Fund is trying to, as much as possible, encourage greater engagement with the private sector because the development needs for climate change goes beyond the public sector, and they have been creating a number of instruments which the private sector can access to leverage access to those resources for climate change related interventions and development. The web portal will be structured in such a way that they themselves can access those information and make the required decisions, more informed decisions as to how best they can leverage the resources that are there.
Development of the website began back in October of 2018 through thorough consultation with stakeholders from all strata of society. Marion Geese, head of the project GIZ, said the launch of the Climate Resilience web portal signals the end of the 3G, Getting Grenada Green Climate Fund Ready project.
Looking back at it, we see that I can say we achieved a lot. It's a 20-month project, which relatively small, less than $500,000 US, and we still were able to do so much. And I'm particularly proud that we found a very strong partner with the Caribbean Youth Environmental Network and have worked hard also on capacity development and proposal writing. And I think there's a future in Grenada just right there to be utilizing that strength. So I'm very particularly proud to be here today.
A demonstration of the functionality of the Climate Finance web portal was done by Kendall Daniel and Amada Hossein. Finally, the community of Manjulu can now enjoy night sporting activities with the lighting of the playing field and the official opening of the Manjulu Sports Club Human Resource Center. Government has been working closely with the Ministries of Works and Sports to light every playing field on the island. Sports Minister Senator Nolan Cox says the upgrade of the sporting facilities serves to develop not just athletes, but communities on the whole.
Facilities play an important role, not just to have for someone to play, but it plays an important role also in terms of the holistic development of the individual. And I think every community needs to have a facility like this. And the government of Grenada remains committed towards ensuring that all our fields in Grenada is lighted. And so we are on a significant task ahead of us as we continue to move forward in lighting our playing fields around the island.
Parliamentary Representative Honorable Gregory Bowen says sports in Manjulu has progressed over the years, with the community producing top athletes from all disciplines. He says with this upgraded facility, more can be done to harness the potential of young aspiring athletes. The playing field and resource center will be managed by a special committee responsible for ensuring proper use by and easy access to the community.
What we want this committee to do, not only a humble servant. You might say that's the job of the politician. I go and I sit in the various homes and I listen. And I made it clear to the committee that the people in this locality are very unhappy with the activities and the perception So we are collectively looking to this committee to change the perception and to have everybody coming in and utilizing the facility. You will write to the committee. If the school is carrying on something, of course, the committee will ask you to give preference to the school and will schedule you for another date and time. So let us all come together. Let us work so that the legacy of those names that we heard before, as if it were written so in the Bible, it is not. They can't see, they can't hear. But if they could have, let us make them proud.
During a ceremony at the Managerial playing field on Saturday, current and former members were recognized by the club for their contribution to sports. That story just ended the national report for today, Monday, September 30th. Let's recap the top story. Ministry of Legal Affairs says last-minute requests are delaying the start of court proceedings at new location. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Alrighty, folks, so once again, what you just saw was last night's edition of the National Report. Well, Mr. Roberts is here. Take a look, take a look. He read this morning, boy, he hot for so this morning. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll come back and see what he's got up his sleeve here this morning. Hang in there.
GRENADA Community Partnership Initiative, supporting health.
To the individuals who will be using these vehicles to serve the people, please ensure while we are using these tools that we use these tools in a manner that we will all be proud of. To GRENADA, a long-standing partner with us, a true testament of what can happen when private and public sector work together for the benefit of the people.
GRENADA, energizing our community.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
Mm-mm. I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Well, not only is Mr. Roberts here with us this morning, there he is, but I see that we've now been joined by Ian Otway, Junior George, Ryan Jabon, Michelle Forsyth, Yvonne Joseph. Hey guys, nice of you to be joining us. And let's say a very good morning to Mr. Ray Roberts. What are you smiling at so this morning?
I don't know.
You just feel on top of the world.
I'm always there.
You're always there.
After Dr. Alexis, he handed it to me.
Oh, yeah.
So he's top of the world.
What's his line again? Top of the world.
Top of the world, yeah.
Top of the world,
So
yes.
I come after him, actually.
Okay.
Never a day without being top of the world.
So what's up, man?
Well, so many things are happening. I must tell you that I'm enjoying the World Athletics Championships in Doha. I'm looking forward to the Kirani event. Is it today? And most interesting for me will be on Saturday when 21-year-old Anderson Peters will throw the javelin against the very best in the world. So lots of Lyndon Victor is out today too. So quite a lot to look forward to in terms of the world of sport. Well, I think we enjoy the T20, but I'm not a great fan of T20 cricket.
Well, you may not be a great fan, but Ray, I gotta tell you something, bro. Listen, I have found myself watching. I don't have the time to watch a whole game.
Okay.
But sometimes I sit and watch them, and these games have some very, very exciting finishes, man.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's never short of entertainment. There's always something funny. It's very acrobatic. I prefer the traditional way of the game.
The 5-day game?
Not necessarily, but you find more classical strokes and you find more thoughtfulness for me. Okay. Yes, they're very inventive and creative in the T20. There's no doubt about that. They create a variety of new things that perhaps will get into the traditional game. But I just have a greater appreciation of the old time way of playing cricket.
Okay.
And I see you have a chime saying disagreeing with me.
You know, I don't know. I'm only just really starting to learn about the 20 over thing.
Right.
But I just find it so exciting. And
It is.
Exciting, and the crowds really seem to get into it.
Well, you have to get into it because you see, I saw some spectacular catches. Really, you had to be acrobatic. You have to train to do these things. Real spectacular, lightning quick catches. So you are seeing things that are often extraordinary. And remember, it's a short period. You have to do the impossible sometimes in a very few, what it is, the Tridents, the Knight Riders and the Warriors, 6 overs to get 96 runs, and they brought it down to what? They lost by 19 runs.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fireworks. So, and Pollard takes 22 balls to score 70 plus runs. That's quick going. Considering at the other end, there may be a man bowling, 70, 80 miles per hour.
There's a guy last night who took 3 wickets.
Right. I'm trying to remember his
Young
name.
kid.
Right, I'm trying to remember his name, yeah.
But let's be honest, this T20 thing is a game of whooping.
Yeah, it is. I didn't want to say it, but you have said it. That's what. Yeah, you watch a fella who can't bat, or who's not supposed to make any runs, and swings his bat 3 or 4 times, and you get what? 3 or 4 sixes, and you who's supposed to be this quality bowler, this non-performer in any other game comes and he makes you look very bad.
Yeah.
And the public goes after you. Yeah. Also, George, I want to say to all viewers and all listeners, I hope we keep 2 things alive. The media issue, and you read a bit of it Sunday on George Grant, Sunday with George Grant. I think it was written by the New Today on this new seemingly platform of trying to create a new culture for the media. I want to say it in a few words that we seem to be led and managed by idiots, because intelligent people can't craft such foolishness. I mean, that's not going to stand the test of time.
Did you believe what you were hearing?
Well, I wondered, first of all, I mean, I couldn't believe that there are people like Simon Steele, who I know is pretty smart, would dump his smartness to the right side of his body and let something else flow from his mouth and his, his eyes, I don't know what. But I would hope that people keep this thing alive.
Well, let me tell you, from the look of things, and I really hope I could find this, yes, boy. From the look of things, it's going to be alive for a little while because, Ray, these post-cabinet briefings have been taking place now for a number of years.
Yes,
okay?
And this is the first time it has reached a stage where stupidity has certainly crept in. I mean, I can't understand how people could be led by Gary. I mean, I have not met anybody. I'm on the tennis court, I'm in the netball court, I'm in the, and the overwhelming voices you are hearing, that's an idiot. That's what people say.
The man has a doctorate. What do you mean?
And I'm trying to be polite. But people, I suppose on both sides, I don't want them which side they're on, they dismiss this guy completely. In fact, when you play a shot that seems to be out of the ordinary, fella say you behaving like Gary. Yeah, so I'm at a loss that the Prime Minister and others can tolerate that kind of humor. It's humor for that long. I mean, if it's humor that has something like a King's Douglas cited, then you could take it. I mean, it's real making people look bad. It makes Grenada look terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, and these guys don't realize the damage it's doing out there in the outside world. The point I was trying to make, Ray, they've been having these press conferences, press briefings for a couple of years now. And what they normally do is on a Monday, they'll send out an email to the media saying, okay, tomorrow's post-cabinet briefing will be hosted by Ray Roberts, or facilitated by Ray Roberts. Make sure you have your gear set up by 9:45, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Never says what Ray Roberts is coming to talk about. Never. Okay? That to me alone is an indication that if you have a question of Ray Roberts, you can ask Mr. Roberts your question. Okay? Ray, yesterday, for the first time, I received an email from the GIS listing, and I just wish, because the post-cabinet briefing is on in a few minutes, in about 15 minutes from now. While you're talking here, I'm going to try and find this, but it actually goes as far as to list what this man is coming to talk about. So in other words, we're telling you, this is what, you have questions? Better be about this. Better be about this. Keep talking. Let me see if I could find this thing.
I was only saying that is not going to stand the test of time. I mean, the two government media houses that they control directly and indirectly, I mean, they would continue to lose business because I'll tell you this, I'm meeting people, a lot of them my age and maybe 5 years younger, And they're now telling me that they're following you on Facebook. So there seems to be a greater move towards, I would say, media that lends itself to more openness. I mean, I will tell you, George, I don't hear the local news that much anymore. I have to go on the Facebook to listen to it if somebody tells me there's something.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the strengths, I think, and I believe it's a genuine strength I'm talking about, and I've been in the news, from 79, 78, until I retired in 2013 to go in the Senate. One of the things I know that we carried as a great strength, we would tell our reporters, and I was news director, so I could see that, here are 2 or 3 questions. We want you to pull the minister or whoever it is aside and ask, because we don't want the other media houses to get that piece, because they may have it in their news before us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to call, but people like Philo, they were all part of that. Leslie and Rhea. Rhea was maybe the queen of it all, because, I mean, that was handed down to us by people like Patrick Smichaels, Lou Smith, and others. They will specifically tell you that try to get the minister or the official away from the others and ask that question, 1 or 2 quick questions. So you start the news in the night with something that the other stations wondered, right, where did you get that from? I was there. So you're not going to help media. And I can understand the contract workers. I mean, many of them are very young. They have no choice. I mean, everybody has to eat. But the George Worms of this whole, not going to follow that kind of nonsense, not going to publicize that nonsense.
Well, I found it. Let me read this for you, Ray. The media is invited to the weekly post-cabinet briefing to be facilitated by Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Honorable Yolande Bain Hosford, at the Ministry of Works conference room on Tuesday, October 1st, 2019 at 10 a.m. Among other areas, Minister Bain Hosford will address 1. Farm labor program. 2. Fertilizer received from Morocco, 3. Ongoing assistance from the People's Republic of China. There will also be updates from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Attorney General's chambers. Please note that there will be a presentation of medical supplies to the Ministry of Health by St. Matthias Charities in New York immediately following the post-cabinet briefing. The media is therefore invited to stay on for that as well. Kindly have equipment set up by 9:45. It's clear, man, that's what you're talking about this morning. Farm labor program, fertilizer, and assistance from China.
Well, I don't know. As I said, you may have a couple of people in the hall because government employs a lot of media houses, a lot of journalists. Well, I don't know if I should call them journalists, but people who work in the media. So you have a good crowd. I guess it's a good picture you can send to international organizations that media is alive and kicking. Here's the press conference, 10, 15, 20 people there, 3 or 4 cameras. So it looks good. But the content, I guess, unless you ask, you wouldn't know. But I'm not bothered about that. That will not blossom. People, as they get smarter, will certainly slam down that kind of behavior.
But are there such people in the media corps?
They are going to emerge. They are going to emerge. As I said to you, I recall the 79 era. We were damn young by then. I certainly wasn't in the 30s. I was in the 20s.
I wasn't born.
Right, you weren't born yet. So let me put it this way. People will emerge, and that nonsense will go out the door.
Look here, you're putting up. Margaret. Margaret says, the government is engaging in agenda setting. The media should boycott. And by the way, John Nozinek says, totally agree. But let me tell you something, Mags. While a lot of these kids may want to boycott, they don't have the intestinal fortitude. Because these kids, like Ray said, they have to eat.
Yeah, that's correct. You know, the same thing I say to people. People say, look, I'm not in any way going to knock the Imani program. What I would say, I would enhance it, but I'm not going to knock anybody in it. I mean, you living in the mountain, a house leaking when rain comes, and you get easy money or free money, whatever it is, and you could then enhance the quality of your life. I mean, when I was in the campaign, many people asked me the same thing. You're going to stop it? You're not going to stop it. But we hear you're going to stop it. So you have to understand that some people say your stomach is the first thing. If it's filled, then everything else flows.
Yeah.
So let's get that right. I don't know that, as I said, on your program also and other programs, I am not going to be that hard on the media workers because I don't know that many of them really and truly, in fact, I've met some of them personally, and they said to me, Ray, we wish you were around because we know we'll have more strength. But you have to understand, give the government some credit for the clandestine way in which it has operated and sort of bring the media under its control. Certainly not people like yourself and George Roman, Lou Smith and others, but they have done. I was speaking to an editor yesterday, and the person said to me that, I don't want to call gender, but in the conversation with that media owner, he saw nothing wrong, but his station makes easy money. He broadcasts Parliament and picks up easy money, so he's on there defending this thing. He sees nothing wrong in that.
Yeah.
He could live with it because that's the people we have. As he said, the person told me, that's the way they believe that the government wants it. Nothing wrong. If you want to do a thing after, then make your own arrangement outside of the thing. So it sounds reasonable. And George, before time run out, I want to make that other point which I spoke about.
Hold on, don't leave the media yet because I ain't done yet.
Right.
Margaret says, listening to this reminds me of the great Sam Donaldson of ABC News.
I still like him.
Yeah. Didn't give a damn who the president was. He shouted his questions anyway.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like in Margaret era, you had a group of Jamaicans who came here and they were high quality media people who worked with those of us who were available. And they might have had whatever leaning, but one thing they had in them was the highest quality. And they certainly instilled that in those of us who wanted to. But I don't know that we have any serious training here now.
Exactly.
So people are just picked up off the street and that's it.
Margaret says, Ray, I go chant a PRG line. A people united can never be defeated.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that leads me to what I want to say about the fact that I've heard a few voices, but not enough. The failure of the government to pay the former CAPSEC. I am still wondering how organizations as the Chamber, and I call the Chamber out, the Bar Association, the churches, the conference, the evangelical, the 7-day conference, all the major ones, the Trade Union Council, I can't imagine that they would not have, in some way, during the social partners gathering, quietly in the ears of the Prime Minister say, that's not what you ought to be doing, somebody, and more so a woman. Because this is your highest this is your highest public service office. Now, if you treat it like that, I mean, you're treating perhaps the person and the office with absolutely no respect. So I'm saying, I remember that in the appointment of a PS, it's the person goes to the Governor General, who is the head of state, and takes an oath. So you have the head of state playing a part in that also too. It's not the ordinary worker who public service just send you a letter and that's it. So I'm saying we ought not to treat with that lightly. I mean, this is a year, in other words, we're going into the 14th month of the person not receiving a salary. and the court ruled in that person's favor. So this can't be a joke. I mean, this is not a battle that is still in court. This is a battle settled by the Court of Appeal. So I am saying it again, I am not going to be quiet on that one for quite a while. And I hope the media people will ask these organizations that often front as, key stakeholders in national development. Why are you silent on that? As I said, I understand that some people will not want to make a press release, but you have to see that as an issue if it escalates in terms of the court ordering the government and then Jimmy Bristol's theory
there you have
that you can take a property of the government in lieu of whatever it is. I mean, you don't want that to be a part of Grenada's new history.
By the way, I spoke to Jamal last night. Yeah. Listen, a little while ago, Margaret said, she would chant a PRG line. Anthea Rello, the line was, by the way, a people united can never be defeated. Anthea Rello responded by saying, but isn't that what true journalism is all about? Margaret was saying she would, Sam Donaldson would shout his questions, regardless of who the president was. And Anthea is saying, isn't that what true journalism is all about? Margaret comes back here and says, that's right, Ray. I think of PU, Karen Laws, Judy Soares, Joan Ross, etc. Professionalism trumped ideology every time.
Yeah.
Ray, this big meeting coming up on Saturday when the Media Workers Association is supposed to...
Is it this Saturday or was last Saturday?
Nah, it's this Saturday, this weekend.
Okay.
Apparently, the president and vice president of the association met with Garraway.
That's what I read.
Right. And now the president and vice president are going back to MWAG to brief their membership on what went down, okay? And it would be really interesting to see their reaction. I'm hoping that somewhere, some wind blows that gives these folks the gall to stand up. They're talking among themselves.
Well, as I said to you, I have not heard anybody. I'm out every afternoon. In Tarantine, there are dozens of people, different people, young, old, whoever. And I'm there, sometimes in Cameron Park. That's the biggest laughter.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I can't understand why he's left to perform those tricks that are certainly not helping nobody, not even the state. He may be seemingly controlling the news and therefore, but I don't know that the media itself is gaining strength.
It's going to backfire.
Yeah.
Peter Belfont says, Ray, reverse the two abbreviations, NIS. When you reverse that, it's SIN, sin. He says, and TUC. Reverse that, CUT, cut. He says their silence could mean they're getting a cut.
Not at all. I think I have respect for both organizations. And I said to people, we have to commend the people in NIS. If you look at their history and you look at international reports, you will see that they are high quality performers. In the Caribbean, they are at the top of the line. They're not a second-rated group at all. They have done excellent service for the people of Grenada, who are part of that scheme. The problem you have in small islands like Grenada, there's a continued turnover. I mean, let's go back to 95. 95, you had several people from the unions into the government, including the current Minister of International Trade, not International Trade, Oliver Joseph, whatever ministry you have Clarence Charles and you have Michael Pierre, who is Speaker of the House. We now see the group that I was with, Chess, is there. So you have had consistent turnover. And the unfortunate thing about organizations like the TUC is that you don't seem to find people blossoming that quickly. And then there's another considered factor. Remember, the private sector is looking for the brightest and the smartest. Yeah. So they pick people who show that kind of talent that negotiating skills, their personnel. Everybody has personnel managers now. So unlike in the past, where you flowed right in, now you're offered managerial contract, specialized contract. So talent may not be flowing as it used to. But I think, you know, the unions will always have a special role to play. And I know that it's not easy because I got in there in '95 when there was a mass exodus. I really didn't want to be there. But gradually I became passionately in love with the challenge of the political dynamism of the day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. A little while ago, you were going to say something, and I rudely interrupted you. I'm sorry about that. What is it you want to say? Because we're
I said it, the Bain Thomas issue.
Oh, the Bain. Okay, the Bain Thomas issue.
Yeah. I'm hoping that more and more people, and it will come to an end. You'll get a press release saying that an arrangement has been made to pay, because you see, as we look, Sheldon Scott thing is still very much fresh in people's mind. 70,000 in 3 months. He must have been doing it for about almost 4 years. So that works out to close to $1 million. I mean, and you have somebody who gave service for 30 years and for 13 straight months in the year, although the court ruled, is yet to receive a penny.
I don't know if you all realize what the heck's going on here, but let me tell you something. I mean, these folks have no respect. Forget about respect for you. They don't have respect for the courts. Huh? Do you realize where we are? You don't respect the courts. What a hope Joe Blow like you and me have, right?
I mean, Boris Johnson, at least, he didn't agree, but as he said, he will have to abide. But we not even, in fact, indicating that there was a judgment against us. It's business as usual. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, and that is even worse for me. You know, if you say you didn't agree and then you're looking for the Privy Council or some beyond that, whatever it is. But you just ignore the thing completely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I say to people, again, maybe that's why I'm not maybe anything for very long. I wonder how 8 women could be in a cabinet. 8 women or 7 women, whatever the number. 6 of them elected, 7 of them elected or whatever. And none got any sympathy for a fellow female who had the highest office in the public service. Not one could say, boss, look, let me tell you this. Let's begin to treat with this. That's a female like me. We're talking gender balance, we're talking no discrimination. I mean, so none shows any form of leadership except being mere followers on that issue. Yeah?
Right. It's going to end.
Well, as I said to a young man who I dropped not too far from you here, I still say to people, I can't believe the morning I got up and I was going to work, and a fellow said to me, Bishop and Court fighting. I said, man, I won't talk. When I reach down in the station, a man tell me, boy, let me tell you, don't come here in the morning. Them fellas are around here on edge. And even 40 plus years after, I fail to comprehend how this thing ended in such a dramatic fashion. Yes. So I'm not bothered about anything. Everything has a closing date.
Old people say the longest rope have I
It's correct. Yeah. I'm looking at some of our friends who, I mean, let's take my friend Brian Griffith. I mean, Brian every Saturday came down where we have this breakfast on Wall Street for a normal chat on whatever, because he loves current affairs. And then somebody calls me and tells me he was doing an X-ray and he died there. I mean, it didn't look like he was going to go anytime. I mean, soon. It looked like he was going to be there for 1,000 years. So I'm not bothered about foolish things like the Galway instituted press control. That's nonsense. That's not going to last. Yeah.
Okay, Ray. we could go on.
Yes, I know, my friend.
But you know what? A lot of what we're talking about here is stuff that we are regurgitating because, I mean, a lot of this crap has been going on for a long time. And it looks like it's going to go on for a little bit longer, but I think we all agree it's going to come to an end. It's going to come to an end. Things are going to come crashing down.
Well, I think you had a piece on Sunday with a gentleman and his wife. I thought that was a very touching piece, and he was a good orator. Very good orator. I mean, he didn't fumble for words. That's what made this piece really intriguing, and you had to listen to it.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy in the Bahamas?
Yeah, the guy
who lost
on the
his
boat.
wife? Yeah. And let me tell you, there's another piece I am hoping I can get my hands on to run this coming Sunday. It's about the corruption in oil and gas and how it is hurting this thing we call democracy. Okay, last night, it was a very important segment run on MSNBC. I'm trying to get my hands on it. We're really trying. This can knock you off your feet. Okay, a government dishonoring the pronouncements of the court. Yes, Peter Belfon, that's what's happening. Michelle Forsyth says the longest rope has an end, and a run, moon, run. They bound to catch it. Thanks a lot, Ray. You have a great day.
You too, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the day. And hope you get back to the beach in the morning.
Yaman, yaman, yaman. Backstroke. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ray, for the contribution that you're making, trying to keep us out, getting into deeper water. God bless you. All right, there he is, Mr. Ray Roberts. Pilgrims. Ooh, just about running out of time here. Hang on a sec. Quick break. We'll come back and wrap it up.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, just about time to pull the curtain down, but we aren't going anywhere without a parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Today comes to you from the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verses 22, 23, and 24. Let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with the full assurance that faith brings, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience, and having our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess. For he who promised is faithful. and let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Again, the reading, Hebrews 10, verses 22 to 24. Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. Let's see where it is. There it is. Folks, Georgie Porgy gone. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. God bless you. And I mean that. God bless you. Let's get together again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So long.